Alright guys, good day everyone. I greet you and I welcome you all to this week video. Today is Saturday and I'm done for this week. I'm done trading for this week. Truth be told, this week I messed up. Yeah, I fucked up big time, messed up my strategy, my psychology. Everything was messed up this week. It's been long, more than a year I've experienced this kind of pressure and this kind of emotion in my trading. It's been very, very long. So I don't want to waste you guys' time. Let me just dive into the video immediately. Let's get straight to the chart so I can show you guys what happened to me this week. It was terrible. This week I took total of 4 trades. If you look at it, you will see that taking 4 trades is normal for me because I trade from Tuesday to Friday. So I take 1 trade each day. So if you look at it, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it should be 4 trades. But I didn't take that trade in one day, as in I don't take the trade in line with my system, with my plan, my rules. So on Tuesday I took my first trade, which was on US oil. Was it on Tuesday or Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. I analyzed this US oil on Tuesday, then set the pending order. Then market was still here. But later that day, this market, after pulling back like this, the market failed to mitigate this POI and then push up. Then on Asian session, it started pulling back. But like you guys know, once it's 7 o'clock, 7:30, if my trade did not trigger me, I cancel the trade. So I was supposed to cancel this trade. But the same thing that happened to me last week, I think, still happened again. I forgot to close this trade on Wednesday. So on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, before I came to the chart, it's already after 12 because I trade from New York session. It's already after 12. So coming to the chart after 12 and seeing this setup, I just look at the setup and see that this my supply, this my demand has failed. So I said, okay, let me see if this demand where this trade has failed will give a good POI for a sell, because I still have sell liquidity to target below. So with that, knowing that even the Tuesday pending order, I said I haven't closed it. So but then this market has not stopped me out by then. But later, after everything, this market stopped me out. I didn't know. So I had a setup on US 30. Yeah, on US 30, which was this sell. I had this sell on US 30. So I wanted to go and set my pending order that Wednesday on this US 30. When US 30 was still playing around here, I map out this chart. I wanted to set my pending order. So when I get to my March trader, I now saw that the US oil trade I set on Tuesday is active, and it's already close to my stop loss. Man, my psychology was like, how can I make this kind of mistake again? Something that happened to me last week that made me lost 1%. So I decided to leave the trade, let it run, and after some minutes, the trade stopped me out. So that Wednesday, I couldn't take this US 30 trade because I told myself that this will now count as my Wednesday trade. The US oil loss will now count as my lost trade. So on Wednesday, I had a setup on NAS 100. Yeah, NAS 100. This was my initial setup on Thursday on this NAS 100. But my mentor posted another setup, which was from this POI. And I said, okay, maybe I should just take the trade from this POI, with her. So I entered this sell from this POI and I lost this trade. That was on Wednesday. after I lost the trade, I was beating myself around, I should have just waited for my setup, you know. So I asked myself, if this trade should come to this my PO, I tap in and drop, I will be pained, So I said, okay, let me take my setup too, because this is my initial setup. So I took the setup. I set the pending order. This candle was still floating around. I set the pending order. I've taken 2 loss, one on Wednesday and Thursday, another loss. I set this pending order, and then I had another setup on gold. So this is it. Had this setup on gold. It was playing around with this candle too. So I set a pending order on this trade, and I set a pending order on NAS 100, this one. So after some few minutes, the trade, both of them triggered. I got a notification, both of them, they've triggered. So I come to the chart, but then I don't trust this NAS 100 trade anymore. I wanted to take good, I wanted to let gold run. So I was trying to cancel this NAS 100, but my match trader was telling me operation unsuccessful. But at that time, this candle was melting, both gold and NAS 100 was dropping. I was already like around 1.5% in profit. I was trying to close that NAS 100 trade. It was saying operation unsuccessful until I was trying for like 20 minutes. I couldn't close this trade. I have to shut my system down, reboot it, on it again, refresh the website. I've done everything. I don't know what happened with gold funded match trader, but I couldn't close that trade, so I left it. But I didn't have this peace of mind, because I'm not used to taking 2 setups at the same time. I like taking 1 setup and see what that one does. If I fail, I try again. I don't like exposing myself too much with risking 2% at the same time, even though it's different trade. I don't like doing that. So I was restless. So after like an hour, I have to go back again. This time I said, okay, let me just log in from my browser, from my phone, and see what happens. So I was able to log in from Chrome from my phone, log in into the account, sign in, then try to cancel the trade, and the trade canceled. But unfortunately, that trade has reversed that time, and I'm negative half hour. I was down like $26 to $27 at that time, but I still decided to close that NAS 100 trade. So when I closed it, I lost 0.5% on that trade, and then my gold trade was running. So at the end of the day, the gold trade also hit SL. So I lost 1% on NAS 100 on Thursday, and I lost 1% on gold that same Thursday, and I lost 0.5% on NAS 100 that same Thursday. I lost 2.5. That was what happened to me this week. My psychology was messed up. I have to, go out just to set my mind clear my mind. I haven't felt this kind of pain for a long time in trading. I messed up big time. I could have just taken that 1 loss, even though that setup was not my setup. I could have just, and I know that whenever something like this happens, it usually ends with bad results. I knew, and I was telling myself that day, take this loss and forget about that Thursday. I'll come back tomorrow. But at some point I decided, okay, let me just take this trade, and if it failed, then I won't be taking any trade on Friday. And this is how this week ended. I think the losses are getting to me. This week this month I've taken total of 9 trades and I only had one loss. This 4 trade I took on Thursday, this 4 trade I took this week made it 9. Before this week I had taken 5 trades, 1 win and 4 losses. So that 1 win was able to give me 3.5%. So I think I focused on trying to come out with profit for the month, more than allowing the process flow, just like I've been doing for months now, not minding the results. But this week I wanted it so bad, to end this month in profit. I don't know why. And this is what it has cost me. And this my account is just left with, I think, 2% to get blown, when I'm supposed to have like 3.5% or even 4 close trade. Let me go to last 7 trade. So this is the gold trade. You can see I lost. Okay, on this gold trade I also lost more than 1%. This is 1.5. As you can see how my psychology, everything was messed up that Thursday. So, and you can see the last 100, the one I closed at half hour, $27. So from this trade and this trade, I lost 2%, and I lost another 2. That is 4% gone this week. 4%. It was painful. This is the US oil trade. I lost 1% there. The last 100, the first one I took with my mentor. This is it. That is the 1% again, and then 1.5%, 0.5%, another 2%. 4 out gone this week. I did not even execute one. Only that gold trade and the second trade on last 100 was my setup. I was supposed to take just 2 losses this week, and then it's okay. I'm working on my mindset now, because I don't want this kind of thing to happen again. After working for close to a year of discipline, 1 week will just come and wipe everything out. So total this week I was down 4%. You can see it here, and I have only this is 92, approximately 2% to blow this account. And if I blow this account, I don't have any other account to trade. I'll be getting a new account, but it's okay. I'll catch you guys next week. This is everything that happened this week, and I pray I don't have to mess up like this again. I'll catch you guys next week. If it's your first time coming across this my YouTube channel, please do well to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.